Over the past 6 weeks, we've moved slowly and methodically for a reason, but now we're going to kick it up a notch. We'll still progress safely, but we're going to start adding in more movement as we prepare to increase hip and scapular stability. As part of that, this workout builds on foundations and fundamentals we've learned about breathing and core engagement so far, while incorporating work to our gluteal muscles, which are a deep core and hip stabilizer. Let's get started with dead bugs. Option to do the same variation as last time with both arms extended straight above you, or you can begin adding in movement by lowering the opposite arm from the leg that you're lowering. Again, we're lowering on the inhale, bringing things back to center on the active exhale, engaging the core and sucking in the pelvic floor. Make sure your pelvis stays in neutral with your low back connected to the floor at all times. If at any point you feel your low back starting to lift from the floor as you're lowering your leg, that's your range of motion. Stop and bring your leg back up to center. Same thing goes if you're moving your arm. As you lower your arm, if you feel your shoulder blades start to lift off the floor, that's your range of motion. Stop and go back up to center. Moving into bridge pose. Stay where you are, lying on your back with your knees up, soles of your feet on the floor, feet about hips distance apart. Keep your arms flat at your side, palms down. On the active exhale, root into your feet, engaging your glutes and pushing your hips up off of the floor. Push into the front of your hips, keeping your pelvis in neutral. Don't let your low back drop. Gently roll your arm bones back and underneath you to help open through your chest and root your shoulders into the mat below you. You can either stay here or you can lower on the inhale and then active exhale into bridge pose, repeating and moving with your breath. Moving into bear crawl hold, flip over into tabletop, making sure your pelvis is in neutral. I like to just give it a real gentle tuck toward the mat. This is a variation of diaphragmatic breathing, keeping your gaze neutral, looking toward the mat. You're going to inhale your belly toward the mat, and as you active exhale, engaging your core and sucking in your pelvic floor, you're going to push into your hands and feet, gently lifting your knees just a bit, releasing on the inhale. Repeat, moving with your breath. Moving into locust pose, go ahead and lower onto your belly. This time we'll do a full locust pose, getting our lower body and glutes involved. On the inhale, in addition to lifting your chest, you're going to also lift the back of your body by engaging your glutes and pushing the front of your hips into the mat. Exhale, release, repeat, moving with your breath. You want to stay really long here. Imagine lengthening through the fingertips toward the toes and pointing the toes, trying to send your energy down and away from you. Moving into alternating leg extension, which is getting us prepared for bird dog. Go ahead and get back into tabletop position. Make sure your shoulders are over your wrists, knees over your hips. Pop your pelvis into neutral. Keep your gaze toward the mat, which will help keep your neck in neutral. On the inhale, lift your right leg, stopping when you feel your hip lifting above parallel. Release on the exhale. Alternate sides. On the inhale, lifting the left leg, stopping at a point where your hips are still level, releasing on the exhale. Continue moving with your breath. The point here is not how high you can lift your leg. We're looking at micro movements that have a macro impact, using the glutes to really engage that movement. Release, we're going to repeat this one more time, heading back into dead bugs. As we move with our breath this time, I want you to really focus on mind-body connection. Keep your attention from your shoulders all the way down to your low back, making sure that you are touching the mat engaged to a surface the entire time. This is the point of stability. As soon as you feel either your low back or your shoulder blades starting to lift off the surface below you, that's your stopping point, and you're going to exhale back to center. This move is not only highly effective for our deep core, but this type of mind-body connection is really good for helping to improve proprioception. And if you're moving both your arms and your legs, this is a fundamental way to help improve coordination. Slow and steady, focused movement, that's what this is about. Moving into bridge pose. Get yourself positioned with your pelvis in neutral, feet about hips distance apart. Inhale, extending your belly, feeling your low back push into the floor. Active exhale, engaging your glutes, pushing into your feet, lifting the hips off the floor. Again, option to stay here or to continue moving with your breath, releasing on the inhale, pushing back into bridge pose on the active exhale. If you have rounded shoulders, this should feel like a little bit of a massage on your upper back. This is a really good way to help counter the effects of forward head posture too. If you feel strain on your knees, you can do one of two things or both. You can widen your feet a bit and you can move them out further from your buttocks. Both of those will alleviate some of the pressure on your knees. Moving into bear crawl hold, flipping over into tabletop position. Again, this is a little bit like diaphragmatic breathing, just with a lift of our knees. So we want to inhale, extending our belly toward the floor. Active exhale, pulling everything up and in as we just ever so slightly lift our knees off the floor. Remember to keep your gaze toward the mat to help keep your neck neutral. We don't want to feel any pressure in our neck or upper shoulders. Just continue moving with your breath. Inhale, release. Active exhale, pushing up into the bear crawl hold. Moving into locust pose, go ahead and lower onto your stomach. Remember to keep those shoulder blades down your back and your back pockets. On the inhale, engage your shoulders and glutes, lifting your chest and legs, pushing the front of your hips into the floor. Exhale, release. Repeat, moving with your breath. Last move, heading into alternating leg extension, getting back into tabletop position. Again, just take a minute to make sure you've got space between your shoulders and your ears. Pelvis in neutral, gently tuck toward the mat, gaze below you to protect your neck. On the inhale, lift your right leg using your glute. Exhale, release. Repeat, moving with your breath, making sure to keep your hips level at all times. That's it. You finish the deep core workout. You can do this 2 to 3 times per week. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.